Welcome to Daily Life Connection, as we continue to explore together who God is and what difference that makes in our lives. Well, I remembered my microphone today. I hope that makes the volume better for everybody. Today I want to begin in Luke chapter 14. There's a wonderful story there. Jesus tells that the kingdom of heaven is like someone who threw a grand dinner party. And you remember he sent out all the invitations to the guests, and many of them made excuses not to come, and then he sent them out again, and they still didn't have enough, and so he sends them out a final time to gather up the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you will. And then there's this wonderful verse in 23. Go out into the highways and along the hedgerows, and compel them to come in. I want my house full. I want my house full. Jesus is revealing something about his Father here. And I'm going to call this God the Hoarder. We've probably seen shows on television or heard about people who are hoarders, and they just collect and collect and collect stuff. Much of it junk, but they collect it until their houses are cluttered and you can hardly get through and everything's a mess. We call them hoarders. And in a sense, God is a hoarder. He wants his house full of people. And that's wonderful news for us, in that God is not satisfied with a few or a small percentage or even many. He wants all. He wants everything. You know, it's like a collector who is collecting some editions of an old magazine, maybe Life magazine or whatever. And, you know, they're not content until every last edition is in their possession, until they have the complete set. And I guess that's what I'm saying about God, or what Jesus is revealing about his Father here, is he is not content until he has the complete set. And in Luke chapter 15, just the next chapter, you remember he tells the story about the shepherd who has 99 sheep. 99% of the flock is safe and in his care, but no, he's not satisfied with that. He has to have that last one. And so out he goes into the dark and into the night and into the dangers in order to get that last one. He's a sheep hoarder, not just a sheep herder, but he's a sheep hoarder as well. And he wants to make sure that he has every last one. That's good news for you and I. None of us are left out. Every one of us is on his collections list, if you will. Every person we know, God is seeking, actively seeking and collecting, because God is a hoarder. He wants to fill his house with his family, with his children. He wants it jam-packed full. So that's something to think about today, perhaps a little different perspective on who God is. God the Hoarder, God who is not satisfied until every last one of his children is collected and is home and fills his house. It's good news because, you know, there are people who collect things, and they only want pristine editions of their collection. You know, we're back to the person collecting, say, Life magazines from back in the day, but they only want copies that are in pristine condition, the most excellent one. They don't want one with a crinkled cover or marks in it that some kid colored in a picture, or maybe put a mustache and eyeglasses on the queen or whatever. They don't want those kind of editions. They want only the best. Well, as we talked about yesterday, he's the God of trash. He's the God who loves broken and messed up things, and he collects them just as intensely as he does the more perfect copies, the more perfect humans. And this story reveals that, doesn't it? You know, he sent out the invitations to his A1 list, to the A list, and many of them said, no, I can't come. And then it goes on to tell us in this story, he said, go go out quickly into the streets and bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame. And they do. The less perfect editions are gathered in. And then that doesn't even finish it up. So he says, go out into the hedgerows, go out into the back alleys, go out into the Skid Row districts, and bring those people in too. Isn't that a wonderful thing? God the Hoarder. And he just gathers, and that's the difference between a collector and a hoarder, isn't it? I guess. A collector wants a pristine set to his collection. A hoarder will just take anything. They'll stack up old magazines in the corner to the ceiling. Well, that's sort of like God is. He'll collect every edition that's ever been published. Oh, that's good, isn't it? Every human being that's ever been published, he wants them in his collection. He'll hoard them to himself to fill his house. Well, something to think about today. God bless. We'll talk again tomorrow.